Welcome to So You Think That Was Good, Do You? A podcast where we take a look back at the films from your childhood and question the absurdity of their universes. My name is Evan, and as always, I'm joined by Sam and Carl. How are you doing, boys?
You're slowly transitioning into a radio host. It's getting so refined. That was perfect.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, I'm good, mate. Well keen to talk about this.
Yeah, loving the Jackie Chan Adventures reference.
Thank you. Yes, I'm not sure how many people will catch that, but yes, that is... I think he says it in a few things. I think the reason he uses it in Jackie Chan Adventures because that's at some point his catchphrase. Because it's in the game Uncharted 3. Do you remember, Carl?
But no, I don't remember a Jackie Chan Adventures reference in Uncharted 3.
Oh, yes. So if you created your own character and you played online, one of the voice lines you could have for your character was bad day, bad day, bad day. There you go. That's it. Well, this week, we watched 2002's The Tuxedo, starring Jackie Chan, Jennifer Love Hewitt, and Jason Isaacs.
That's staying in.
Shall we get started with a quick plot synopsis, boys? Again from
let's go for it.
ChatGPT. Jimmy Tong, a lowly chauffeur, is dressed to kill when he dons a high-tech tuxedo and becomes a secret agent tasked with saving the world from fashion disasters and foiling the plans of evil masterminds. But that's some of the movie, isn't it?
It's none of the movie.
I mean, he definitely dons a tuxedo.
Well, he's got a tuxedo on and he does... Well, he's there whilst the plans of evil masterminds are foiled. Other than that...
He's about.
He's about. Excellent. Shall we then start?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that has preempted anything that we're going to say.
No.
Unfortunately, it doesn't save the world from any fashion disasters. But, yeah, let's get into the plot. Iconic opening to the film with the pan down on the beautiful flowing stream, which a deer walks up to, pisses straight in the water. And then that flows into a pipe, which gets kind of filtered and then put into a bottle. All the while, you've got this absolutely banging 2000s electronic track playing in the background. I was loving the music.
Yeah, great stuff.
And I also fully believed as a child when I saw this, no doubt, that all bottled water has piss in it. I was like, well, that's it there, isn't it? They put it through a mesh.
You've been drinking through the tap since.
This does seem like propaganda against the bottled water industry. This whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
When they're not trying to kill you, they're just feeding you piss.
We have seen some strange openings to movies in our time doing this. From just the long opening credit sequences to strange imagery of bugs, which again appear in this movie and we'll get to. But this, on the nose, takes the piss. Not only does the deer take a piss, we are then put into perspective of the piss flowing through the pipes and then into this laboratory.
Laboratory.
It's not a lab. It's a bottling factory. It's not a lab. It's not a laboratoire.
Yeah, just very, very strange. Maybe my favourite opening so far.
But yeah, so we're in this bottling plant, and we see one of the workers go off to the side to take a call. This is revealed to be the partner of our James Bond stand-in, Clark Devlin. He's trying to get Devlin on the phone. We don't get any context for it because he immediately gets a bag put over his head, tightened around the neck, filled with water, and drowned.
He's saying Operation Big Drip is cresting level 2. Which,
Drip.
From now on,
I didn't catch
is
that.
how I'm going to say that I need a piss. Sorry, boys, but Operation Big Drip is cresting level 2. I'm going to have to go.
Fantastic.
But yeah, he's drowned by a custom-made, back-mounted drowning machine with specially made drowning bags. How many people are you drowning that you go, should probably get something made for this we can just carry around? Like a backpack.
It's like, should we get like a gun or something? No. We're a water company.
Yeah,
we will find a way to make this work.
Yeah, exactly. So he's doing this stealthily, but they have to incorporate water. the contract that every henchman signs up to means that you have to include water in the ways you kill somebody. And he doesn't do it quietly. And then he has to jump down from the little bridge he's on to the floor and drag this guy away with that massive backpack on. Didn't get caught, though, somehow.
Doesn't do it quietly. He says, Aqua la vista, baby.
I wrote that down.
I was going to say, this is
Insane.
absolutely the reason why he wanted to use water, so they could get that line.
100%. I just wonder how many others lines he has, because you can't just keep repeating the same one every time you kill someone. So I thought I'd help him out. What are you gonna do now?
Oh, perfect.
And H2O, no, you're dead now.
Those are beautiful.
Yes,
Thank you.
fantastic. What are you gonna do
I wish I could provide one. We could sit here for a dead silent 20 minutes as we come up with
Trying
more,
to
but I
think
think
of
it's
one,
better to
yeah.
just move on.
We do not do improv. We are on the script all the time.
Oh, absolutely. The only other thing I want to point out is that we later find out that even though he was drowned in this bag, the autopsy showed that he actually dehydrated. This technology is perfect at this point. The whole issue that they have later on is that it's too powerful and it just withers you down to a husk. But they drown this guy, it looks normal. They've already perfected it.
So what they need to do is go around and convince the entire world you need to stop consuming your water from bottles and do it via bag over the head. That way, if we all start taking in our water via head bag, this will all be fine.
The 2-ton backpack you have to wear around is their primary product.
Feeling thirsty?
Hey.
Just have guys walking around the city centre with the water dispensing backpacks on. Get this bag over your head. I'll quench that thirst.
But this guy is dead, and all we know is that, Operation Big Drip. Cut to New York City, and we see Jackie Chan, who's, I'll say it now, his name in this is Jimmy Tong, but none of us are going to say it's Jackie Chan.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Jackie is standing outside an art gallery and practicing some flirting with his friend, colleague. I don't really know who this guy is.
It doesn't matter. He is gone after
doesn't
the
matter
scene.
at all, does it?
Yeah.
Fellow taxi driver, maybe. And he's standing outside. He's looking at this girl who works in an art gallery, and he's trying to come up with a line that will work.
Yeah, his line is, I dreamt of you before I ever saw you. And his friend's like, yes, that's the line. Go use that. Do not use that. To
It's not the
anyone
line.
who
No.
watched this film and went, oh, that's how you talk to human beings. That's not how you talk to anyone. If someone walked up to me, soul patch, T-shirt saying, Hooters girls love me.
Okay, yeah.
I dreamt of you before I ever saw you would not. I don't think
You'd have them
anything
sectioned.
would work.
I did not understand any of this as it was going on. The Hooter shirt, the soul patch, the way he talks to people, awful plan. But it is only so, once he gets the suit, you're supposed to see some sort of difference in him, I realise. But there isn't any. Even by the end of the movie, when he is supposed to be more like Clark Devlin, nothing has changed. He's just soul patchless.
The full character development in this story is that he gets a nice suit. That's beginning to end. That's all that happens.
I mean, and at the end, he doesn't even have the nice suit anymore.
No, he doesn't. He's given it up. So he does say that. He says, I dreamt of you before I even met you. And then forgets that immediately and goes, when I think of you, I have a wet dream. What the fuck is that? This is a kid's film.
Is it? Is it though?
Surely it's not a kid's film.
Yeah, is Rush Hour a kid's film? It's just a dumb action comedy, isn't it?
No, you're right. It's not.
Yeah, there's far too much of this movie is focused on Jennifer Love Hewitt for it to be a kid's film.
Oh yeah, they say titties a lot. No, rack, they say a lot. My brain said
say
titties.
rack a lot.
Yeah.
I will say, if anyone listening fancies to follow along with the official Tuxedo drinking game, take a shot every time tits are mentioned. Because whether you're watching the film or listening to the podcast, that'll get you drunk. This film has a real obsession, real fixation. Anyway, so yeah, Jackie goes into the art gallery now to chat to this girl, but he kind of gets sidetracked chatting to Colin Mockery, who is in this.
Insane. Why is he here?
Wow, where did that come from?
Yeah.
No idea. I mean, crazy casting, but I'm glad to see him, And Colin tells him, he's the art gallery owner, and he tells him, you should go over there, speak to Jennifer. I think he says her name is.
Yeah.
Go over there, speak to Jennifer, and then she can reject you and we can all move on with our little lives. So Jackie thanks him for this advice and goes outside to sit in his car for what must be hours.
Well,
It just cuts. It cuts and he's outside sitting in his car. But she then leaves. It's the end of her shift.
Oh, yes. And then he gets out and he leans in the back seat and the next lady appears.
It's a very confusing set of events, but he goes outside to wait for her to leave for some reason. And he sits in his taxi, gets no fares. As she leaves, he opens up the door and clotheslines a roided up mental cyclist who happened to be passing.
Yeah.
So we get the first thing that could charitably be called a fight scene, where this fucking psychopath just flips out and starts Hulk smashing everything around, chasing after Jackie and trying to kill him.
All this scene does is serve to contradict the rest of the movie, which is that Jackie does not need the suit. The way that he jumps up onto the top of the car and sort of matrices over a car that's passing behind without getting hit, he never needed it. But he needed people to know 10 minutes in that I'm Jackie Chan, I can do this shit.
It's
They needed a fight scene to keep us interested. I'm not even acknowledging that.
See, the best thing about this scene, though, was the other taxi driver, I thought, who confronts the roided up cyclist and then instantly backs off when he realises that he's got too involved. And I just really hope this guy sticks around. He's funny.
Oh, well, yeah.
He's great. I love the other guy. I mean, so the thing that happens is, so the cyclist is attacking Jackie Chan. The police show up and see this white guy attacking minority and stand there like, well, yeah, we'll stick around, see what happens.
This isn't my job.
No reason to intervene here.
He's got this covered.
Then his Jackie's friend, the taxi driver, joins in, and shockingly, they don't intervene at this point. I was fully expecting. Maybe that is where he goes, because we don't see him for the rest of the film after this scene. Presumably, the police take him away. This is America, after all. But he chases off the guy who was trying to murder our protagonist. And then, so yeah, that is the last we see of Mitch, his name was. Thank you, IMDb.
Oh, okay, nice.
So then Jackie gets back into his car, back into the taxi, and he meets Stina, who is waiting for him calmly to get in so that she can get a lift. She gets him to drive her to work and says that she'll double the fare if he gets her to work before she puts on her makeup. She was already wearing makeup, but that's fine.
Yeah, he's been scouted.
He has.
Yeah, they're looking for a new driver, and he's been scouted because he speeds everywhere. And this has somehow scored him an article in the newspaper.
He's notorious for being a terrible, reckless driver.
He's lost his license 8 times.
He's notorious for being a fast driver who's lost his license a shitload, but claims, never had an accident though, and then proceeds to definitely cause at least 2 crashes during this one drive.
Oh, absolutely.
As he, at one point, drives the other way down a one-way road.
He gets stuck in block traffic and just reverses all the way down. The only reason he doesn't crash his own car is that everyone swerves out of his way. Everyone else is a good driver.
Everyone else is veering off left and right, crashing, wiping out pedestrians, and he's just there going, see, never crashed.
Good day, good
I'm
day,
a
good day.
driver.
And miraculously, she gets out of the car without looking like a Jackson Pollock. I don't know how she put her makeup on in that, but she does manage to. And because he succeeds, he gets offered a chauffeuring job for Clark Devlin.
Another man who's in definitely all of the movie.
Another great character who we hope will stick around. So the next day he goes to the interview for this job. I don't know why they have an interview. He's already been offered it. He goes to the interview, gets the job, and meets Clark Devlin, who is Jason Isaacs. Absolute dreamboat.
Beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Lucius Malfoy.
Lucius Malfoy, yeah. Was he Captain Hook or something?
I just know him as the only good part of Series 1 of Star Trek Discovery.
Oh,
he's great in
that.
Darlin is Dead. Is that what it was called?
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's great in everything. Love
he
Jason
is.
He's just so good in everything.
and he's dreamy as
And
hell.
even in
boys.
this, despite the fact that he only speaks in cliches, he's great. So he starts his new chauffeuring job, and in the meantime, we cut to, I don't know what this place is, some kind of, they call it CSA, special something agency. The special.
It's when you can't call something the CIA and you can't call something the NSA. You just go, shove them together.
Here are 3 letters.
So we cut to not the CIA, where the autopsy is happening for that bloke who died earlier, and
Just in the office as well.
it just in the middle of the office.
Surrounded by at least 100 people, all just watching in
working
lab
on their
coats for some
computer.
reason.
Yeah.
It's their
Yeah.
IT suite / morgue. Just doing the autopsy of this guy.
And so a discussion that should absolutely be in a private room, speaking around about a dead agent.
As not to panic the staff.
Yeah. But thankfully it wasn't. It was out in the open in the IT office. Jennifer Love Hewitt pipes up as Devlin, which that's a fucking made up name.
It is. I thought people kept calling her Devlin and was confused through this entire movie, so decided only to use actors' names for my notes.
Yeah, fair enough. Jennifer Love Hewitt shows up, and she's the only one that's figured out the dehydration thing. So she pipes up, speaks to the boss, says, "Nah, that's bullshit. This guy he died of dehydration, not drowning." And he says, "Sick. You want a job?" It was so easy to get a job in 2002.
Well, to be fair, first he said, "But he's wet," and then she did a bit of science talk about cells or some shit and convinced him. But he believed straight away that this guy drowned just because his hair was wet.
Yeah. Autopsies were quite basic back then.
They didn't even cut him open. Oh, this guy drowned. Look at him. Get a towel, man.
Look how wet he is.
We're all gonna drown.
Don't let him drip on the wires. We've got loads of computers in here.
But so yeah, Jennifer Love Hewitt's now got a job as an agent or some kind of support, so good for her. And
Climbing up the
that's the whole
ladder
scene.
from IT support to special agent because you googled water on the side.
Because she was doing autopsies on the side, apparently, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, not autopsy. She said her specialty was water.
that qualifies her for special operations, obviously.
Give her a gun and a towel.
But yeah, then we go back, so Jackie's with Clark Devlin again. I think it's his first day, and he's kind of following him around like a dog, just
Yeah.
staring at him, absolutely in awe, because
To be
Clark
fair-
knows how to flirt with ladies.
To be fair, we're pretty much the same, just mentioning his name, so I'm not going to judge.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
we were.
All 3 of us swooned together.
And
Yeah, all the ladies are swooning, so are we.
but he's flirting with a woman, fair enough, but in a store that sells bugs.
In a bug shop.
What?
In, the New York City bug shop.
Well, to
Before
be fair,
the financial crisis, people had too much money to spend on whatever the fuck they wanted.
bugs were a currency in Mimic, so maybe this is the same universe. Maybe we do a headcanon at some point that links the two.
But yeah, he heads into the bug shop and gets a bug and a date, and it gets the girl back to his house. And yeah, he's dancing with her, and Jackie's just standing there. He's off shift at this point, but he's waited around to swoon.
Well, yeah, he's locked on. And you say dancing, he is doing everything but. Maybe the woman he's with is dancing, but he is Michael Jacksoning back around, like doing some real Dracula shit. And nobody in the whole... In fact, everyone is watching him dancing, and no one is concerned that this guy's a mortal and or half snake. It's just, oh God, he's so handsome. Look at him go.
Yeah.
Has anyone noticed that his legs haven't moved yet? Look at his face. Look at his handsome face.
Look how he glides.
Does anyone notice the angle that he's at? Bouncing around like one of those little inflatable guys outside car dealerships.
That is perfect. Because locked onto the ground, but his body goes 360, baby. Oh, perfect.
But then Jackie's shift finally ends, and he heads upstairs to, I think he's just tidying up or something, and he sees the glass case containing the suit, the tuxedo. And Clark shows up behind him and says, "There is one rule, do not touch my suit." Anyway, should we go to Burger King?
Oh, this is so strange.
It is really weird.
So carry on and
just
we'll get to it.
They wanted to throw in some weird little fun spy tropes. So they had
Burger King spy trope. It's fucking old now. It's been overdone.
And he orders a couple of Whoppers and a pizza. And that is the code word. That if you order a pizza at Burger King, you get a pizza box with some intel in there.
Why?
Who is the CSA agent who has to work in Burger King full time, 7 days a week, all opening hours to wait for a guy to turn up and ask for a pizza?
Well,
Yeah.
we
And the
learned
Burger
that-
King manager looking at this girl with pizza boxes stacked up next to her. Like, what the fuck is she
What
doing?
are they?
She's absolutely selling drugs.
And
Gotta
the
respect
manager
the
is
side
younger
hustle.
than her because she had to go to fucking university for 7 years to learn to join the CSA. And his name is Lyle, and he's maybe 20.
Well, look, being wildly overqualified and working in Burger King, this movie's ahead of its time. This is the world we live in now.
But we're about to get a scene, which I love because it denotes completely how this is a movie of its time. Because now, a bomb.
Yes, they do. They pull on ahead, and Jackie's not paying attention, and they run into some skateboarders.
Yes.
A bunch of youths with their skateboards.
A bunch of 35-year-old youths
Yeah.
and their skateboards. Yeah.
Okay. A bunch of men skateboarding at night in Burger King car park who distract him while one of them slaps a little tracking module on the back of the car. And then as they head off, he sticks a bomb on the skateboard, gives it a kick, and it locks on and follows the car. Anyone else confused why they didn't just strap the bomb to the car?
But, mate, Tony Hawk's Underground 2 hasn't long come out. People love skateboards. Where else are you going to fit a skateboard in this movie? It's got to be here. Also, it's the bit that makes the skateboard drive on the bomb or in the skateboard. What's tracking what? Who knows? But it works, and I love it.
But
There's a tiny tuxedo around the skateboard.
Does this mean that they knew this was gonna happen then? Because they hired the nutcase taxi driver who speeds around New York. Were they expecting the old skateboard bomb that they'd have to escape at some point?
I mean, I guess that... Well, I thought you were going to say, did the bad guys who want to kill him... We have no idea who these guys are, by the way.
Oh, they do not come back.
I guess they work for the bottled water company, but that is a bizarre
Evian.
department. they're the Evian mafia who go around just waiting outside Burger King to see if anyone's got a pizza so that they can blow them up.
What are you going to do now?
I'm going to assume that was a water pun, but you just pronounced it what are.
What are?
But yeah, they hired
God.
this taxi driver who's known for his speeding, and was this because they knew they were going to get skateboard? Have they been skateboard bombed before? Where's Clark Devlin's last driver? They just go get a new one and move him in. Where's the old one?
We've got to assume the last driver's dead.
From a skateboard bomb, I reckon.
Or we've got to assume that Clark Devlin was the last driver, and the previous Clark Devlin
was killed.
was killed by a scooter bomb or something.
Because when the Clark Devlin gets killed, your driver becomes a new Clark Devlin. This is all coming together.
Well, yeah. The next scene is they manage to get away from the absurdly huge explosion. But Jackie gets away. Devlin sort of gets away, but he cracks his head off the pavement.
Yeah.
And it's revealed. He pulls his driving license out and shows Jackie his name getting kind of automatically zooped away, and Brad Dilford is left. I don't know why I mean, you just get 2 driver's licenses, you'd think.
Well,
Instead of having a magic one that changes.
what's the point, though? This is a guy who...
Of changing your name.
Well, he's a billionaire who is throwing big events for the Natural History Museum.
True.
This man is a face. He is getting wheeled into hospital, and they're going to go, "Oh, Mr. Dilford, do you know who you look like? Like Clark Devlin, who's always on the news."
Yeah. Bruce Wayne, you look like Batman.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, more or less. But I guess, yeah, this is the way that this job works, is that you get killed or put into a coma in this case, and your driver takes over.
Yeah. Well, before that happened, before you'd established this amazing lore for this movie, which absolutely doesn't deserve that kind of amazing lore, I was astounded that Mr. Devlin chose Jackie to be the next wearer of the suit, because so far he's been a complete shambles. Like, even his driving is erratic, but the way he follows him round and gawps at him, I'm positive he only said for him to wear the suit because he was the closest person to him. If there'd been a crackhead fingering a dog within 10 feet, he would have asked him first.
He's bleeding from the head. He doesn't know what he's saying.
He is.
But
He is bleeding from the head, and he is perfectly eloquent in every word that he says, up until he tries to say Water Strider, when all of a sudden...
spoilers.
He says, "What, her Strider?"
But you know what he does say very clearly? Trust no one. And then when he gives Jackie the watch, on the watch it's engraved, "Trust no one."
I didn't catch that.
And so...
I didn't catch that.
it's on the watch, or it's on something attached to the watch. It just says "Trust no one" engraved. So I feel like they've given away that obviously there is a mole and someone's going to backstab him. They've just given away that plot point too early. It's obvious it's coming now.
Yeah. There's obviously going to be some kind of subterfuge, some kind of...
And I love that the first thing he does is trust the first person who phones him. Doesn't even meet in person.
Trust no one.
"Hi, would you like to save 50% a year on your insurance?" "Yes."
Obviously, there's a mole in the organisation. Maybe, I mean, it's got to be a recurring character. Maybe it's Mitch. Maybe he'll come back and he'll be the mole in the organisation.
If there was a
Maybe, who
sequel,
knows?
Mitch would have been the driver for Jackie Chan.
Oh, be so good.
Yes.
Tragically, that didn't happen. Anyway, so back to the plot. So he's got a head wound. They head to the hospital. He's basically in a coma at this point, and Jackie's sat in the waiting room. He gets handed a bit of paper from one of the nurses, saying he was clutching this in his hand, and it's a bit of paper which has got a water strider in, like, well drawn right in the middle, with loads of notes and names and phone numbers. Forget about that. We ignore that for the rest of the film. Completely irrelevant.
Sorry,
The plot can happen.
I'd forgotten about this, and then the way he realises that it's Water Strider later on is so fucking dumb. Yeah.
I mean, it's you know what? I won't say it now. We'll get to that. In the meantime, for some reason, there's a woman sat next to him in the waiting room who keeps saying, "Dr. Angelo?
Yeah,
Dr. Angela? Is it Angela or Angelo?"
Oh, she is not sure, but she's obviously a woman who is very lost and in need. She's very old, maybe a dementia patient or something. And
Poor old woman.
being the gentleman that he is, you want to help a woman like that. So what does he say? "Oh, Dr. Angelo's on holiday, actually, so..."
So shut the fuck up.
Yeah, just stop saying that.
Yeah. There's an old woman clearly in distress next to him, and he lies to her to make her shut up.
You see, this is why you don't have a boyfriend, old woman. One of Jackie's soon-to-be catchphrases.
Oh, but yeah, as he's abusing old women, we move to the kind of secret lair hideout of our antagonist. I think it's the first time we see our antagonist.
It's not a
banning.
fucking secret lair. He's got a big mansion. He's a very public billionaire.
For some reason, I thought this was on a boat. It's not. I've written down it was on a boat.
It is below his swimming pool. It is the least cool secret lair you can have.
I think the swimming pool thing's pretty cool.
It is not. It is an insane amount of overhead to How much water goes in every time you open those fucking things? He says he goes down every night because he can't sleep. How much water is down there? And he's pumping it back up onto the fucking 3 inches of pool. What if someone tries to get in the pool? It's a pool. Someone wants to come over for the parties he throws all the
pool with
time.
a diving
I
board
fancy
as well.
a fucking swim. Oh, wait, my fucking neck is broken. Put it in your basement.
The diving board is also the button to get in. So as they jumped in off the diving board, it would split and part the seas for them to crack their head off the stairs.
Oh, sorry, I didn't expect it to go so hard there.
He's just going down to his lab every day, and there's a new mangled up person laying on his stairs. Just
Stepping over the next corpse.
Just in their Speedos.
Anyway, so he's having a secret meeting with someone in his company who he doesn't like the look of. So he's decided to kill him and test out his little project of dehydrating water. So he gets this guy to drink water, and he gets, well, I've written down, he gets Last Crusaded. The thing that happens in the Last Crusade where they drink from the wrong grail and they just wither into a husk.
Yeah.
That happens to him.
The man turns to dust. What they need to consider is convincing the world to consume their water through head bag.
Look, maybe that's stage 2. Maybe that's Big Drip stage 3. I don't know. His head bag.
We're cresting level 3.
The explanation they give for how this works is that a bacteria on the striders or whatever makes the cells spill electrolytes into the bloodstream, which causes dehydration. That doesn't mean that the water goes away.
Oh, yeah.
It just means it's
makes you
in the
thirsty.
blood.
Yeah.
But this man turns into dust, so I don't know. I guess he's pissing it all out.
Unlike
just off screen.
Earlier on, they had a body to perform an autopsy on, albeit they didn't. But this guy, no.
If they had done a proper autopsy, they would have realised, okay, sure, his hair's wet, but he is dust.
Just
He is made of dust. But anyway, that's our demo of this evil bad guy. Jackie, at this point, has headed back to Clark Devlin's house. He's been given the watch, he's been given the wallet, the ID, all that stuff. And now he's back there and he finds the tuxedo. This is where shit kicks into gear. He opens up the little dome of glass and puts it on, and it kind of fits itself to his body. You get a little sick mesh effect going over it as it fits itself.
Yeah,
and then the camera zooms in under the sleeve, and we see little electro beams going in, and it zooms into his nerves. And we just accept that this is how biology works. Yeah. Maybe little zaps. Yeah, okay. That's probably what the human body looks like when you zoom in real close. That's fine.
90% zaps. 10% water.
He is at this point. And then so he's got the suit on. It starts, he starts controlling it via the watch, and he accidentally activates demolition mode. So he starts, against his own will, kicking the shit out of this entire room.
This is a suit made for a secret agent, and he's meant to use demonstration, accidentally clicks demolition mode. Why does this mode exist? It's like the angry ex-boyfriend mode on the suit as he just trashes the lights, starts ripping things off shelves, smashing the windows.
Punch a hole in a wall. Drink a can of Monster.
Call her a slut and leave.
Now gaslight her. Tell her she did this.
I don't know if either of you two did this, but I paused and had a look at the options that were on this watch.
I knew someone would.
You don't see many of them as he scrolls through. It kind of blurs them out. But I caught, first of all, there are 2 modes. One of them is called dancing, and the other one's called shake booty.
Yeah.
I don't know why you need 2 of them. Probably just pick one. But then there are 3 of them that I caught here. Delegation, demographic.
Just points at someone else. You do it. That is next level laziness.
Delegation mode means, you tell someone else to do it. Demographic mode, I don't want to know. Maybe that zeroes in on certain demographics.
That's why he hired Jimmy. Please delete that joke.
Oh, no, that's fantastic.
Oh, and the last one is groom, which I guess just
noticed
like
that one.
shaves for you.
Oh, I assumed that you just couldn't control yourself like Wallace in that Wallace and Gromit movie. You just start heading towards a middle school.
Oh my god, I've got to compose myself.
At this point as well, the suit is explaining every mode and what it does out loud for everybody to hear. When is that of any use?
I just think that this guy must be out there having to do a thing and then having to slowly scroll through his watch, going through alphabetical order to find...
Yeah. And cover up the microphone on the fucking suit so everybody around him doesn't hear what he's about to do.
Muffle it as it talks through each option.
At one point, he has to get down to sniper rifle. They must have been there for fucking ages. Give me a second. I'm at Shake Booty. I'm nearly there.
Yeah, there was no search function. You got to scroll, baby.
And then the end of this scene is that he gets onto anti-gravity mode.
Oh, that'll be important again later, won't it?
Yeah. Climbs up the wall onto the ceiling, and then as soon as he takes one hand off the ceiling, anti-gravity stops and he falls.
How do you electrocute a man into being anti-gravity?
We've zapped all the gravity out of yourselves.
If you zap him enough, he will start jumping up.
Start floating.
Just removes all your bone density, so when you hit the floor again, you crumple.
Like a borrower.
Like a borrower. Little bird bone fucks.
Luckily, after this, I think he's on auto for basically the rest of the film, so no worries there.
Delegate.
This scene ends with him getting his first call from Devlin, from Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Yeah.
Devlin?
Who says, from Devlin, who says, we got a meeting to get to. She gives him the meeting point in this park and says, the code word is nice rack. And for those following along, take your first shot.
Yeah. There we go.
So Jackie heads to the park. She says she'll be in a grey suit, so he sits next to a woman in a grey suit. So far, none of this is his fault. He's following exactly what has been said. He says nice rack to her, take another shot, and gets done for sexual assault. And then as he's leaving, he gets a call with some pissy Jennifer Love Hewitt at the end of the phone saying, "You idiot, I've delayed it."
Well, yeah, she calls to say, "Oh, change of plans," and then when he's annoyed, she says, "Well, they've only just told me, don't get pissy." So, well, that means you never left then. You never set off.
He's still in the office. She is the worst kind. I hate people who do this. You're like, "I'm here. I'm in Spoons." I'm like, "I'm
just in the shower."
Yeah, no, I can't come. But it has been delayed, and I don't know why they're meeting in a park. The place they had to be is miles away in like some kind of industrial park. So he heads there at night.
I'm just going to say it's so we can have the lovely little sexual harassment joke. How else would that
the
get
only
into
reason
the
for
movie?
that is so that they could throw in the nice rack joke.
Take a drink.
But he heads to the industrial park now, which is the actual meeting point. And Devlin's there waiting for him. And as he walks towards her out of the light, she is baffled that he's Chinese.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too baffled.
I mean, it's not that much of a shock, is it?
No.
But she, having never seen him before,
Clark Devlin
is shocked.
You? At this point, I'm wondering, why is Jackie doing any of this? Why? He wasn't that close to Devlin. It was just a job. All he did was follow him round. Why has he put on a super suit, seeing how dangerous it is? Just believe the first call he's got and going out to the top of a water power. Yeah, but he doesn't know that yet. Nobody's explained it to him.
He's the driver.
He's got to find Walter Strider.
Now the guy he was driving is incapacitated. Now he's the agent. That's how you get promoted in the CSA.
He's just getting paid a driver's wage. As I'm guessing Clark Devlin was.
To be fair, it's probably higher than Burger King wage.
So they climb up the top of this building. I don't really know what these buildings are, but they overlook
vantage points
where vantage points. They overlook the place where Banning is. His name is Banning, isn't it?
I've no idea.
Doesn't sound right now that I'm saying it.
Just call him Sideburns.
I'm not going to just Sideburns. Where Sideburns is having some kind of secret meeting. They don't know what it's for, but they're just vaguely investigating him. So they climb up the top of the building. Jackie uses the suit to put together a sniper rifle using the sniper rifle function. Flips it around, puts it together, and shoots a guy in the head with it. Just fucking murders a guy.
Oh, yeah.
Neither of them are too fussed about that.
They are there secretly. And there is no silencer on this sniper rifle. You hear it fucking pow as he accidentally slots a guy in the head when he forgets to use the sniper rifle shooting function on his suit.
Luckily, all of the henchmen have tried to take a swim in that pool, so nobody can hear. They've all got perforated eardrums, smashing into that see-through glass.
The job induction is a pool party, just to make sure.
But yeah, he then sets up his suit correctly and fires the second shot.
Mm-hmm. He gets the bug, yeah. And
the bug doesn't actually land where it's meant to. It ricochets off of the suitcase into a woman's hair. And in order to make sure that the super secret bug is in place, it flashes a bright red light while it's stuck in this woman's hair. Why?
Yeah, it does.
Your hair's flashing.
I love that. I love the little flashing red light that has to be on everything. It happens later in the film when where Jennifer Love Hewitt presses her necklace,
the necklace,
and the back of it starts flashing because it's a tracker.
Oh, don't you worry. I wrote about that too. All caps.
Oh, we'll get there. But yeah, the big reveal here, as they do bug it and they listen in, the big reveal is that he wants to buy some other water companies, which, yeah, okay, acquisitions. Real interesting.
The big reveal is that he wants to buy other water companies, but definitely threatens them with an impending biological disaster.
Yeah, so he's coercing them, he's intimidating them, he's doing whatever. Blackmail. But because that's all quite boring, we get a sick fight scene when all the goons show up behind them, sneak up, and yeah, Jackie fights off a bunch of them, and Jennifer Love Hewitt, basically fails to help at all. So he single-handedly fights them, the Tux single-handedly fights them all off. And then...
But she spends this entire fight scene not helping, but just talking about how shit he is.
Oh, berating
Which
him.
is what she will do for the rest of the movie, is just be useless while calling everyone else shit and useless.
Well, this is what gets me. She basically pushes him off the... It's her fault that he falls off the edge. And then she tries to pull him up, but then kind of lets go and lets him fall off the edge of this building to what she believes is his certain death. She doesn't see him do a magic anti-grav backflip and grab onto a pipe.
Yeah, she kills him and then gets all pissed off because this isn't in the manual. Yes, it is. Go find his driver. He's the secret agent now.
Yeah.
I never saw him switch it to anti-grav, Sam. When he falls off that water tower, it is just some... Hey, except the flip can sometimes take you in the direction it definitely wouldn't. And then his hands turn into those sticky, horrible Lego things and stick to the side of the water. I think it's a water tower. I don't know.
Kind of pocks his way back up.
Yeah.
But so she thinks he's dead, so she calls him a moron and steals his car. Meanwhile, he kind of dashes around, dodges a few more baddies, and then he slides down the side of this tower. This rough cement tower. He slides down with his bare hands.
Vertical.
There's no suit mode that lets you slide down rough concrete with your bare hands. By the time he got to the floor, he should be down to the fucking elbows. It should just be red streaks down the side.
Flaps of suit. At this point, I had to pause because I'd had a little bit too much both the Tuxedo and Jackie Chan for a moment. So I wondered what other people thought of this movie. And as you found out as well, Sam, there's not a whole plethora of opinions out there on this other than the evangelists and the this is shit. But I did find this good comment from someone on Reddit about the abilities of the Tuxedo. So I'd like to read this for you.
Oh, please.
This is from Paradox Pizza on Reddit. In the movie The Tuxedo that Jackie Chan's character wears supposedly makes a regular person turn into a better fighter when it's actually a placebo effect. He only believes he can fight by wearing the tux because it's actually just Jackie Chan. That is it. That's the best thing I could find.
He just didn't realise that he was Jackie Chan.
Yep. There you go.
Who is also anti-gravity.
It had Jackie Chan written on the label of the tuxedo, and he just went, "Oh, that's who I am." Yeah.
Oh shit! Yeah, I can fight and sing.
That wasn't him.
Anyway,
We'll get to that. Okay.
no,
We'll
it
get
was
to that.
absolutely not him. He gets down the building and he runs after the car. He does some weird run where it looks like he's shit himself, but
Oh yeah,
he runs after the car
chases-
and jumps in.
He chases this car, and she's driving off at full speed. So they've covered, I'd say, quite a distance.
Yeah.
And then she pulls up, gets out, and then gets in her own car. How far away did she park?
That's a good point. Maybe she walked. Maybe she's stopping in at the
Well,
office.
yeah, because when he first arrives, he
definitely
pulls up, she's
walked.
already there. So she parked 3 miles away in a car park and then trekked over.
She was walking all day.
That's why she had to call to delay. I've got a 5-mile hike, mate. I'm not going to be able to get there.
You idiot. Didn't
Yeah.
you show up at the other place?
Yeah, that is a bit odd. She also, once again, calls him a dickhead for nearly being killed by her.
Oh yeah, she's the worst person in the world.
Nice rack, though.
Oh, she's an absolute twat.
Drink.
And then hops in her car to go to a gun range.
Yeah.
So the next scene is, again, kind of confusing. It's her and Stina at a gun range, and it's basically just a couple minutes of zooming in on their asses and them shooting the dicks out of little paper targets.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's 2 guys working in the gun range who are zooming in the cameras to look at them whilst they're firing off the guns. They leave, and you see that the 2 guys in the gun range just have an abacus. Why?
Because sometimes
What are they counting?
there aren't women in there that they can... Oh, well, yeah, they could be counting cheeks.
Oh, I just assumed they were counting rounds fired and probably got really pissed off when she whipped out the machine gun. You can slow down.
I love the idea that they'd
That's
be
good.
counting rounds fired on an abacus.
Fantastic. I wish I had your brain, Cole. I didn't even see the abacus, let alone would have I been able to put those things together.
We've got a tuxedo that can reverse gravity, but we've run out of budget, so you've got to count on an abacus.
Well, I mean, the secret agent is a billionaire. We're overpaying Clark Devlin, so you're going to have to deal with an abacus.
He's just getting paid the wage of 20 different drivers.
Every time a driver dies, the driver replacing them gets all the wages added together. They've lost a lot of
you get
drivers.
Clark's wage plus $2,000.
Clark Devlin hired those skateboard assassins, hoping he'd be safe.
Well, I don't know who else would, because who else knew that they were at Burger King?
Well, who else knew they were at Burger King? The mole that was obviously referenced with the Trust No One,
Mitch.
who we will have identified later.
Absolutely, that'll come back around. Trust no one. But luckily, Jackie trusts everyone. And when he gets a call again, Dell just got finished calling him a dickhead, and she calls him back up. He's back at the hospital now, checking in with Clark. Dr. Angela lady is now on the intercom, which I thought was a nice touch.
This suit's got to be fucking stinking by now, right?
Oh, yeah.
He's been wearing it a
Absolutely
while.
reeks.
He's quite dependent on it and will not take it off. And wash is very far down on the list on the watch, so you're not going to spend your time scrolling down to the W's to wash the suit.
Just delegate, mate. Wash me.
I pressed delegate, but it just pointed at me to wash it. Fuck that.
So Dell calls him up and says, right, we're going to an event where Banning's going to be. She doesn't specify what the event is. I think she says it's at a hotel.
But she does specify that it is not black tie, because
Absolutely not black tie.
yes, Jackie is worried that he'll look out of place in the suit. Lo and behold, when he turns up to this event, it fucking absolutely is black tie, Everybody's
It is
in it.
extremely black tie.
It brings up a good question that this suit is only useful when it is normal to wear a suit. Any other fucking time, you are so conspicuous.
Absolutely. There is definitely an undercover agent in that skateboarder gang who shows up to the Burger King every day in a tuxedo.
He's supposed to be undercover.
Bill, you're overdressed. But so it's absolutely a black tie event. So they show up to it, both, dressed up. She's gone to the effort of dressing up in the dress to match him. Didn't go to the effort of buying tickets. So they get to the front of the line and she's just like, right, well, go on, bribe him. So
it's his fault, according to her.
Oh, it's absolutely his fault because he got to the thing that she organised. And she was like, well, I got no tickets.
Spent the last one minute on abacuses.
And he tries to bribe his way in with $7, which shockingly doesn't work. The next bit is very confusing. They head around the back of the venue and there are a couple of bouncers there. So they sneak their way in using the power of tits.
Drink.
Take a shot. Because her plan is, hey, stand back, I'll sort this. And she starts rummaging around in her bag while both of the bouncers stare down her dress.
Yeah.
And then we cut and they're inside. What came next?
Well, exactly. That's why they had to cut.
Did they both leave to have a wank and then they could just walk in?
If they hadn't cut, it would just be, oh, they're nice. Anyway, tickets?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah, there's no ending to that scene. So they do head in and they stop in James Brown's dressing room where he compliments her rack. Take a shot,
yeah.
And Jackie knocks him out. Not in response, just because he touched him, which is a common thing throughout the rest of the film. If anyone ever touches him, he automatically knocks them out.
Yeah, suits on auto.
I did love that they incorporated the James Brown scream into him getting flipped over onto the floor and knocked out, though. Fantastic.
That was good. It's crazy that the next scenes are... They see James Brown, they knock him out, and the thing is, Jackie now has to take his place.
Of course.
As the singer, the lead in this event. So they got James Brown on for this film and then told him, no, you're not singing. You're going to sit there, get knocked out, and then you're going to cover Jackie Chan pretending to sing.
Yeah.
Well, I did find an interview with Jackie Chan.
Did you?
Where he said that his issue was with learning the words. He's a very experienced singer over in China, so he didn't have any problem with doing the singing. It was the dancing and learning the words. So I don't think anyone has told Jackie Chan that's not him singing.
You think there's a cut out there with him actually...
I think he's watched this movie back,
yeah.
Or hasn't watched this movie and doesn't know that he's been dubbed over by James Brown.
And who are we to correct him?
Yeah, because I've always thought this. I know he has a singing career in China. I know that he occasionally sings in his movies, and it's always fucking terrible. And I'm convinced no one has told Jackie Chan he can't sing. And he thinks that he sings like James Brown, maybe. You wouldn't tell him, would you? No one's going to tell Jackie Chan that he can't sing. He's been putting out albums since the 90s.
He's such a lovely guy. But luckily, the suit has a James Brown mode, which gets him singing like James Brown.
I just assumed that the character could already sing, the suit just helped him dance.
No,
surely the suit could only help in the area where the suit touches.
There's a scene that cuts in where it shows that affecting his voice somehow.
Okay.
So the suit does it, which means that on this list of things on the suit, he's also got to scroll through every singer's name as he's heading down to sniper rifle.
Yeah.
A little drop-down menu opens after you click sing. Fuck.
The whole Spotify discography's on there.
Spotify, 2002. Napster, mate.
Oh,
Napster.
Napster.
Yeah, boy.
He's got LimeWire on there.
Number of times you press a singer's voice and it's just porn.
But as part of the suit's version of dancing does involve him sliding under the table of Banning and his fiancée. and spending what has to be a full minute wiggling his ass in both of their faces.
Oh yeah, he
Which,
is.
I don't know how that is for the rest of the crowd.
Yeah, he is inches from their face, wiggling his arse in a tuxedo he's been wearing for 2 days whilst doing a lot of physical activity. That is stinking.
Honking.
I mean, we're meant to be laughing at Banning being a bit disgusted. We would all be disgusted. The fact that his fiancée is into it just says something about her fetishes.
The stench
Horrible.
of that. Wearing his roommate's underwear.
I was about to say, we're about to learn he's wearing his roommate's underwear.
Which
The
he
only
presumably
thing-
got out of the dirty laundry.
Yeah. The only
Yeah.
thing he's wearing that are his are his socks.
I hope
Who
he doesn't
knows how
sleep
long
in
he's
his.
had those on?
I hope he doesn't sleep in his roommate's underwear because we've already been told he's having wet dreams about the art gallery lady.
Oh. He sleeps in the full tuxedo.
In the yeah.
Oh,
He absolutely does.
it's begging him to use the wash function at this point. You dreamt about the art gallery lady again.
delegating.
Please wash me.
He's embodying Operation Drip. Category level 5.
Operation Big Drip. Oh, I'm cresting level 4.
Crusting level
This-
4. Vulgar.
I'd love to move on to something
Else.
better than this, but it only gets worse. Because the next scene is the two of them, Del and Jackie, doing a bit of flirting. Jackie flirting with the fiancé, who Banning says, regrettably, this is my vacuous fiancé. I think her name is Cheryl or something. And then he also calls her a rancid tart.
This is... I can't figure out why she exists, though.
Yeah,
Why does he need a fake fiancé?
I don't know.
no idea.
He's
I thought,
rich.
oh,
He
is it
doesn't
like
need
a...
to-
Is it like a hiding that he's gay thing? But then he's really into Del, so no. She's just
no
there.
idea. It's just for this scene to happen now. So we can
It's
go
just
up to
for
the
this
room.
and the next scene.
This
to
is
happen.
my fiance. She used to be normal, but then she kept going for dives in the pool.
Look at the bubbles.
And then also, and then Del Blaine, Jennifer Love Hewitt, IDs the water that she's drinking and touches Banning's thigh, so he immediately falls in love with her.
Oh yeah. Whilst she's running her finger up and down between her very nice rack.
Drink,
Drink.
baby.
He describes he's chatting about his lab work and he describes it as glorious wet play. So if you did take a drink, finish throwing up and take another drink for that.
Yeah,
Why not?
restock.
Next scene is in room 7268.
Yes, she invites Jackie back to her room.
Yeah, so Cheryl or something invites him back to her room while Jennifer heads out in slow-mo to the pool. And she's convinced that Jackie's going to go up and get laid to get some information. And because she's certain that he's currently fucking, she opens up the spy cam, which she gave him earlier, so that she can have a little cheeky peek. But what's actually happening up there can only be described as sexual assault. She's
Scary.
in there, she's shouting about tiny bubbles and ripping his clothes off as he
Runs
just
away.
desperately tries to get away.
Peeling away
Kind
the
of
only
horrible.
layer that protects you from the stench of his roommate's boxers.
Let's be honest, peeling away. It's cracking as she peels them off. There's a reason that she's running a bath.
Have you drunk my boyfriend's water? It looks like you're turning to dust in these trousers.
Horrible. But this leads into, as more goons come in, because they know that they're spies, they burst in, and we get this kind of half-dressed fight scene where he's trying to get the tux back on while fighting off some baddies. Awesome fight scene. I really liked the kind of...
Really good.
It was a very Jackie Chan fight scene.
Yeah.
Where he can only kick because he's only got the trousers on. And he's like fighting them off with one leg while he gets the jacket on. It's super cool.
Yeah, this is why they
matter
make
how-
these movies. Like, of course it's not for the plot or for the people in them. It's just because Jackie Chan is a master of this.
Yeah, no matter how shit the movie is, Jackie Chan fight scenes were always a joy.
Yeah, I
The
forgot
man
to
has
take notes here
mastered
because
entertainment
amazing.
when it comes
Yes.
to this.
Yeah. And my favourite move that he does in this is where he very slowly spins around on his head on the floor while one of the goons looks down and pretends to be disoriented by it. Which is the way that he pretends to be disoriented is like when a kid runs up to you and shouts, "Watch this," and then does something shit, and you have to pretend to act impressed.
Whoa.
Oh,
Guys looking at him, slowly spinning on the floor, going, "Wow,
What do I do?
good one."
I'm not touching that guy. His boxes are disgusting. Pretend I can't hit him. I'll pretend I can't reach.
He gets a waft of the bollocks every time he spins around. Oh, God. But it ends when he kicks one of the bodyguards out the window and kills 2 people in one throw.
Yeah. Because down
They hit
by
the
the pool, Dell has been attacked by a different guy.
Yes,
Yeah,
she
he's
has.
snuck up behind her and tried to just grab her round the neck with his hands. And I was just thinking, it'd be really good if they invented some sort of portable device where they could maybe put a bag over her head and drown her. I mean, she's even by a body of water, so it could look like she drowned in the pool, but sadly no such thing exists.
They've only got one of those, and they're currently using it somewhere else.
To be fair, you could stab her as long as you got her wet afterwards. There would be no autopsy. She's drowned.
Yeah, she drowned. Her hair's wet.
Splash some water onto her hair. You can chop her head off. It's fine. They'll only look at her hair.
100 people. 100 people in an IT suite watching her autopsy. Oh, she's wet. Nice wreck. Drowning.
Why didn't she float? Something's amiss.
But yeah, so that ends the fight, and they both head back. Jackie and Dell head back to Dell's house, which is they have a little bit of an exposition scene. The only thing of note that happens here is that they're talking about understanding emotion and the fact that she doesn't really understand people. And Jackie's way of describing this to her is, "Ha ha ha is funny, hoo 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 is angry." And I'm convinced that's improv. There's no way someone wrote that down in a script.
But again, if Jackie Chan improv something, you don't cut it out, do you? He probably thought
Absolutely
that was... In China, he's an improv king, my friend. They sell CDs of him improving.
That's basically the only thing that happens of note in the scene. And then we cut to the next day, and it's infiltration time again. Banning's hosting another party. He's got another thing going on that they can sneak into. Shall we get tickets this time? Pff, no.
He's hosting...
We'll show up at the door and see what happens.
He's hosting a product launch. It's
He's
a
hosting
water
product
company.
launch for a water bottle, for some water bottles. Yeah.
Do you
At
remember,
his mansion.
do you remember when we released Sparkling? The party was insane.
We were all there.
Hint of lemon. Oh, what a night.
Yeah. Yeah, it's mad. I don't know what we don't really know what the backstory is of this product launch.
It's just so a suit looks normal again. Yeah.
It's like it's meant to
another
be...
thing that you can wear a suit to.
It's meant to be cover for his plan, but his plan involves tiny little bugs that no one would notice anyway.
Oh, they'd notice, but we will get to
We're
that.
definitely going to get to that.
So yeah, once again, they show up at the door with no ticket and no plan. Luckily, he's realised at this point that the suit has a scanner and printer built in, so he nicks the ticket off the guy behind him and goes in as Dr. Schwartz. We don't see what happens when the next guy in line gets to the bouncer, but forget that. They're in the party.
Note that the bouncer didn't stare at Jackie and go, "You? Dr. Schwartz?" It was just Jennifer who did that. Love Hewitt.
Yeah. Well, he was too busy looking at something else, or 2 other things.
Of course. Well, they do most of the heavy lifting in this movie. We don't need the suit. Just take her tits everywhere. Drink.
Yeah, so they dance around a little bit at the party, try and blend in, and then they go to find the hidden lab, which, to be fair, was not that hard to find, because at this product launch party, he's got guards walking around with tanks of green goop going straight to the lab.
He'd have probably got away with this if he wasn't having an unnecessary product launch party.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't mind us, green goop coming through.
The pool was outside the door that they entered through. You didn't need a ticket to go there. Another reason to have the lab in the basement, where you absolutely would need a ticket.
Yeah, which they couldn't get into easily because it was completely unguarded. But they did. I mean, they find the pool, and Jackie is now walking. He kicks some stones on, realizes what's happening. He walks on the water. Still, by the way, quick reminder at this point, neither of them have questioned Walter Strider as he's standing on top of some water.
Investigating the water company.
Yeah. But they accidentally, amid the bloodstains on top of the door from where each guard and fiancé has cracked their head, they accidentally open it up and they get down into the lab. And they wander around a little bit. They don't really figure much out. They get caught by a couple of guards and they have to leave. But before they leave, they hide behind a pipe and Jackie puts the suit into camo mode, which makes it's kind of an invisibility cloak. This raises a lot of questions.
I also have a few, but you go first.
Number one, why was she invisible? She's not wearing the suit. It should have just been her that you could see.
Yes. So assumedly the suit is picking a direction and mimicking what you see. So either you see her or the people looking at the suit see themselves. Carry on.
Exactly.
Yes.
To be fair, had it been just Jackie Chan stood there looking like he was in her dress with her tits, that would have been funnier.
That would have been so much funnier.
That would have been good, yeah.
The next question it raises is a fucking head scratcher. She doesn't understand why they couldn't see her. She says, what, are they blind? Which means she doesn't know that the Tuxedo has all these powers. Well, she doesn't know that he's been using the Tux to do all of this stuff that he's been doing. And in the very next scene, Ev, did you want to cut in with your...
I agree with you. I'm loving that you're pointing this out. Well, she tells him to strip down.
She finds out that he's not Clark Devlin. And in the next scene, her first reaction is, he's in the men's toilet. She heads in. She says, strip off. That Tux is not yours. Okay, so at this point, if you don't know that the Tux is magic, weird thing to say. If you do know that it's magic, still a bit weird. Because she gives it to Banning.
Yes.
What is going through her head?
I think, summarising everything you just said there, I think all she thinks is that he has taken Devlin's suit. She does not know it's super. So she isn't bothered when she hands it super over because she doesn't know it's super. She is just mad.
But she does know the suit's super because she tells the scientist that it's the greatest piece of technology in the world.
Oh, shit.
Exactly. She
does
either
know.
figured it out before then, and then why doesn't she have a suit? Why doesn't everyone have a suit? If she knows that it's super, why doesn't she get one?
Why did she give him the watch? She could have given him the cool suit and then just fucked with him once he was in it.
Yeah. And why didn't she figure all this out before if she knows that the suit's magic?
Put the suit
And
on.
why, biggest question of all, why does Jackie think it's okay to borrow his roommate's underwear?
Oh, because otherwise you just come in your own. You're doing loads of washing.
all those wet dreams
God.
he's gone through all his own.
Anyway, she does give the Tux to Banning, and she has a little chat in the lab as he puts it on and demos it, and they talk about his secret plan. Jackie, meanwhile, has headed back home.
Yeah, this is an important point, Sam. Well, he's headed back home. He doesn't have a roommate. Are they Clark Devlin's pants? Are they his underwear? Is that his roommate? He lives at Clark Devlin's house.
I think
He lives in Clark Devlin's house.
that other guy, Mitch, used to be his roommate, and he's just been wearing the same pair of Mitch's boxers for the run of the movie now.
For the whole time. The
Yeah.
3 or so days that it's been. I reckon, I think they're probably Mitch's underwear. But he's now...
Because they didn't look like Clark Devlin underwear. He would wear tighties, wouldn't he? Show off that.
oh, absolutely.
Those curves.
He'd wear
you know?
much more suave underwear than that. Oh, god damn it, man. More questions. He gets back to the house and sits down at Clark's desk, which is scattered with papers, all about water striders.
Yeah.
And still, He doesn't figure it out. It takes him writing a letter, accidentally spilling a bottle of water onto a picture of a water strider, which was already on water in the picture, in order for him to finally figure it out.
Not before he takes the pencil, puts it between the A and the T to block out that L so he could read for himself Water Strider, and then we get a pan to the Water Strider, a pan to the beetle that somebody had given, that he bought from the shop or something earlier. That's a Water Strider in jewelry form. It's all clicked. This is the twist.
This is where the twist is happening.
If only he delegated the research to the suit earlier.
If only he'd used that delegate function. But he then finds the extra tux which Clark had made for him in record time. He finds it, puts it on, and he heads back to the lab. Which means, in the time that Jennifer Love Hewitt, Devlin, walked from the party down to the lab and had a little conversation, Jackie managed to get home in his underwear, get changed, write the letter, find out about the water striders, find the suit, get changed again, and get back to the party, all in the same amount of time.
It's Jackie
This
Chan.
man works fast. He is Jackie Chan.
So we know at this point the suit is super, because when he puts it on, he does the little thing, which means Mr. Devlin had a super suit made for the guy who's driving his car just because he liked him. None of the other CSA agents have them, but he can afford this random man, in his sense, who just follows him around shopping, to have one. Why?
Exactly. Even, I mean, to be fair, the suit does have a getaway driver function on it, so maybe he realised how shit he is at driving, and went, actually,
just
we need to
deleted
automate
all the
this.
others. He just has that one function.
We'll put the child lock on this one. No anti-grav for you. But he gets back to the lab, and so begins our fight scene with Tux versus Tux, with two men in who are doing very little.
But while he's been away, Banning has told Dell his plan, which is all of these water striders that he has bred and the weird shit that's on their feet that will spread to all the different reservoirs. And the plan is that they will all follow the Queen to all the different reservoirs, and then only his water will be drinkable.
Yes,
Yeah.
somehow.
Done my research, boys. There are over 500 species of water strider-like insect. None of them have queens.
Oh, I knew that was fucking bullshit.
Oh, perfect. I cannot believe that you've done more research than the writers of this film. That's amazing.
I can't believe that.
They were too busy looking at tits. Drink.
Great rat.
The other thing, I mean, even if you ignore the fact that they don't have a queen, the plan is...
It's fucked.
Okay, so in amongst all the fighting, he releases all of these water striders.
Yeah.
And the plan is to have the queen fly up and out of the party through the main fountain in the middle of the party.
Yeah.
So all of the guests standing around would have seen a swarm of insects fly out through a fountain.
From the guy who has just bought every water company and owns
From
a
the guy.
reservoir. Yeah.
But down in this
Do you
lab...
think they might be a bit suspicious?
Down in this lab, on the screens, it's showing all the different wet reservoirs and saying they've been targeted. Does the Queen know this? How was it targeted? Have they given her a list of
Surely
places?
any water source will do. It's just going to go to a pond.
It's going to go
Surely
to the closest one, which is his.
It's going to go to the pool.
Oh, the Queen's going to bang her head diving off the diving board and never get anywhere.
Also, there's a intercut with this fight scene and those bugs being released. Jennifer Love Hewitt takes a glass of water and pours it into the computer to try and stop the things being released and from them telling the Queen where to go. So you own a water company, your whole plan is based around water, your base is beneath a swimming pool, and you didn't make your computers waterproof. You're fucking asking for it.
That is an oversight.
There are plenty of oversights. The party full of people where all your henchmen are acting as bouncers, so they can't even come help you downstairs. They're all fucking letting people into your house.
Or they're all busy transporting goop.
Also, why was there a tub of snakes that had nothing to do with this movie?
There was also a tub of snakes, which was presumably another test subject for this bacteria. What were they going to do? Fire them out a cannon?
And a separate one for the queen snake. Fucking, this is dumb.
Oh, God. But long story short, the queen does get released.
Yeah.
The glass gets smashed. And Jackie manages to trap it in a glass on Jennifer Love Hewitt's face. And then he's fighting off all the goons and he's kind of moving the glass around her face, around her body. Obviously, all of this is just an excuse for more focus on the tits.
Yeah, because he puts it right on her arse as well.
And on a bum.
Mm-hmm.
What I did enjoy about this scene is there's a part of this fight where he's moving the glass around her body where the fighting gets quite intense. And so the glass just disappears for a bit while he does a few kicks and flips and then returns after he's done those kicks and flips.
He does a little Matrix homage spin. I don't even know if the Matrix Revolutions have come out at this point, but it's the same thing when he gets the pipe and spins around. It's hard to describe. He's horizontal, doing little spins, kicking all the guards in the face as he goes.
Yeah.
And the glass is gone to do that scene. But then it all ends when Banning gets up and starts running towards them, screaming, mouth open, and he yeets that queen right down his throat. And we get, Gremlin style, a fucking brutal death scene.
It's just so out of place for the movie this has been so far. We've not seen any gore. I mean, that one guy did turn to dust, but it wasn't very heavy on it.
Well, it's the same thing here, but worse.
Yeah. So all the bugs in the room now have found their new water source. It happens to be in this man. So they all fly into his mouth around the glass, which is wedged between his teeth. Oh, horrendous. Amazing.
And he also gets Last Crusaded.
Yeah. Obviously, he turns to dust, Sam. Obviously.
And then, so after all that's happened, the CSA shows up and they have a little debrief in the lab. Not much to say about that, but they casually assault one of their colleagues and chuck him into a snake pit. That's why the snakes were there. And Jackie says, you could just do me one favour, having completed this mission. By the way, you didn't complete the mission. You were the occupant of a suit that did the mission. You just impersonated special agent.
You just put on your watch and you scroll down to mission and you tapped it.
We don't know that Clark Devlin is any more competent than Jackie. He just wears the same suit.
We have to assume he isn't.
But he wears it well.
Oh, he does, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
But Jackie's only request is that he gets a full special ops team to help him flirt with this art gallery girl. And here we get full circle back to the start. Clark Devlin throws his same line back at him. I dreamed of you last night. But when Jason Isaac says it...
Oh, yeah, I believe it, yeah.
And he fails, of course. He's too nervous because the girl's too attractive. And then Del Blaine throws a little hissy fit about him not fancying her, so he throws her a pity shag.
The end.
A few things to touch on. First, how much taxpayer money was wasted on all of that.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, 8 people there, a day's salary for each of them. But let's not even think about that. One of the final lines of this movie is that your happy face or your horny face? And then Jackie Chan says, tell you later. Or something to that effect, or we'll find out later. Not a kid's film.
One thing I would like to add to that scene, Jennifer Love Hewitt was 22, Jackie Chan was 48.
Wow.
We're in Leonardo DiCaprio territory there.
Dear me. And okay, so we're at the end of the movie now. All we've got is the post-credits scenes, which is a bit of bloopers. By the way, I used to love having bloopers at the end of films. I wish they still did that. But the most brutal line in the entire film is in the post-credits, where Jennifer Love Hewitt kind of cracks up at something that Jackie says. So he shouts at her, look at her ugly face. It's like, fuck me. Doesn't hold back, does he?
Look at her tiny rack.
Look at her.
Oh, and that's the final drink, ladies and gentlemen. What a movie. We don't have any bad reviews or trivia this week, but I think we've done quite enough. There's not really, no. So let's get right down to the question, shall we? Sam, so you think that was good, do you?
So you don't? I loved it. I really enjoyed watching this. Yeah, I thought it was great as a child. I remember absolutely loving this film. And I was a little worried that going back and watching it, all I would see is the ridiculous bullshit plot. Although I did see that. It's a cracking film. I'll watch anything with Jackie Chan in. I don't care. And all the people who... I mean, when I was looking through the reviews, a lot of them were complaining. I think I said this to you boys before we started. A lot of them were complaining, seeming to think that Jackie Chan is some kind of high artist who's above all of this, and he's such a master of the craft that he shouldn't lower himself to films like that. Fuck that. He is in his element here.
Yeah.
And I love it.
I mean, this is no Rush Hour, but this is not much worse than Shanghai Nights or Shanghai Noon.
I haven't seen either, so I can't comment, but I fucking love this film. So, yes, I do think it was good. What about you?
Good.
Yeah. I always love watching 90s, early 2000s Jackie Chan movie, but you don't watch it for the plot. You watch it for Jennifer Love. No, you watch it for Jackie Chan kicking people in funny ways. The man has mastered fighting comedy. That's what you come around for. And that's what you get.
Well, thank God. That makes us a bloody three, boys. I've never seen this before, I don't think, but I bloody loved it. This had everything for me, mostly Jackie Chan. I suppose that's all I want. But even though the plot was shit, I didn't need that. Just a good old bit of fun, this, and I'm going to be watching more films like this in the very near future for fun.
Incidentally, because you mentioned kind of action comedy, Carl, I don't know if you two have seen the Every Frame a Painting video about Jackie Chan.
I think I have.
I mean, if anyone listens and hasn't seen it, absolutely check out that and watch every video on the YouTube channel, Every Frame a Painting. This film definitely doesn't fit into the kind of golden era Jackie Chan films that they speak about there, but it just talks about the way that he shoots, the way that he films, and it's awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome.
We are really helping that YouTube channel out, aren't we? Giving them a plug on this podcast.
Yeah.
Helping the little guy.
Well, is that all, boys?
That's all I got.
Fantastic. Well, thank you all for listening, and thank you, boys, for joining me. Please leave us a sweet 5-star review on Apple or GodPods, and follow us over on Twitter at SoYouThinkPod. Join us again next week when we'll be joined by our first guest, Johnny Welch, for 1990s Arachnophobia. Until then... Oh no, that's the line I forgot to remove from my script last week, and so this is what you're being left with. Goodbye.
Wonderful. Nice rank.